a referee. It was Mane saved it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not
And
caught up
I
on any of
think.
that football stuff yet, but sure. Right, we're
No,
recording now.
Oh,
we're a
is it?
golf
Oh yeah,
podcast.
golf podcast. Sorry about that.
Golf
Yeah.
podcast. Let's snap out of it.
Can we talk about the derby?
No, but actually, the most
Yes.
recent TikTok I put up was about the tribalism in football and trying to bring that into golf, and it didn't work and all that. So, it gave me an excuse to put a hashtag football thing on it as well. Hopefully, we get more views through that. But it's been up for half an hour and got one like, and it was me and my other account. So,
Oh, I'll go and like it. I'll make it free.
yeah, thanks
We
for
like
that.
it.
But yeah, we're back for part two of the Live series, and I think the idea is we're going to talk. We talked about the format, the teams, everything that kind of went wrong last time, and now we're going to talk more about everything that happened around it, like Rory's involvement, potential merger talks, and now more recently, Brooks Koepka coming back, and maybe is this the start of other players coming back? So yeah, but before we do that, Jordan points out we should definitely talk about the golf last week.
We definitely should talk about the golf last week.
Um,
Um,
you go
shall
for it. You always give an overview, but I feel
I?
like I'm quite clued up this week for
How are
once.
you? Wow. Let's start with the PGA Tour, Sony Open in Hawaii. Um, Davis Riley had a two-shot lead going to the last. I think he shot one over in the end. Chris Gotterup shot like 7 under in the final round. I watched the highlights, and it looks like he hold everything under the sun. And it really does put it in perspective. If you've seen his swing and the way he actually plays different shots, is incredible. By the way, because I'm struggling with my pitching, and I'm looking at him pitch, and I think there's hope because the way he pitches the golf ball is incredible to say the least. Like his stance is open, he's got his hands forward, the ball's at the back of his stance, and he just hits these low little fizzy nippers that are like checking and spinning, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I could do that.
Oh, I thought you were going to
I
say his
love
technique was
how
really bad.
Nah, he's
it is bad.
Not as
it's
bad as
Um,
your mic, Rob, to be honest. Rob, I
uh,
think you just have to experiment with your microphone, Rob. Let's see
Alright.
what happens.
I'm just going to be a spectator, really.
yeah, and then what else? Bob McIntyre snapped his putter in the third round on the 17th hole. Then missed a free footer on the 18th from free foot, and then had a backup putter to use in
Wait,
the
wait, wait,
final
wait,
round.
wait, 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 wait,
Wait,
wait.
wait,
Let's go back.
wait.
He missed a 3 footer from 3 foot.
Yeah,
Thanks
I
for clearing
mean,
that up, Jordan.
is it is it
If I
wrong?
said that,
Am I wrong? So he
No.
missed a free footer from free foot, and then he had a backup putter, and then he said in an interview that that pretty much cost him the tournament. So
Wait, why
he,
did he break his putter intentionally? Or
yeah, snapped it around his knee.
but I thought you weren't allowed to then
that's
use
intentional, yeah.
backups.
Yeah,
No,
I
he
think
had a
it's
backup for the final
intentional.
round, so he missed the putt, he missed the free foot, a free footer from free foot on the last with a wedge, and then and then
Did he? So he used a wedge? Oh dear.
used the backup putt for the final round.
Was that from the 3 foot break?
I've got no idea what he was doing in the final round, but he shot like 63, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So
He's been switching quite a lot, hasn't he? What putt was he in? Well, what putt was he in? Because he had a Scotty for a bit, didn't he? He had like the number.
now he's using the spider now, that
I don't
black
know, right?
spider. He's now up to sixth in the world. Would you believe?
Wow. Whoa.
And that was Chris Gotterup. He's won in the past 3 seasons. Would you believe? Didn't know that.
I didn't
But,
know that either.
that's pretty
Did
cool.
he win more than just the Genesis Scottish Open last
Being
year?
Scottish.
Or is that what he
No
won?
idea.
It's a pretty
No
good
idea.
one, though.
It is a pretty good one.
Mhm.
What else? DP World Tour.
Oh,
Dubai
yeah.
Oh
Invitational.
dear.
Nacho Elvira finished on 10 under, one
Great
ahead
name.
of Daniel Hillier, who shot like 6 or 7 under in the final round or something like
Well, there was at one stage, I think, when the final group was on the 11th or 12th, there was 5 players tied at 9 under.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's
Rory had 5 birdies in a row to get
Hmm.
back in it. Just when Rory were like, "Oh, why is he leaving it this late?" Then he has 5 birdies in a row, and obviously couldn't quite get it done towards the end. But
Yeah.
before we talk about how good Nacho was, Hershey and Lowry in that last hole.
Mm.
I
And
I
mean,
didn't actually, I didn't see it.
But it's brutal.
he hits into like the back bunker and then like overshoots his like bunker shot, and then it goes past the flag into the water, and he chips up and obviously
What was
yeah,
it? A tough one? Was it a
makes
tough
his
bunker
double.
shot?
No, not
Yeah,
really. But I think he was in a bit of a downslope because he just
yeah, it
got
was a bit of a
couldn't get any
downslope,
spin.
and I'd seen in the highlights there was someone else chipping from the back of the green, and how quick it was. But Robbie was 10 under, one at like one shot
Oh,
lead, 10 under, and then he 9 under was in the clubhouse, and then he hit it in the water and made a double. So he didn't even make the playoff.
Rory had the same bunker shot like before and actually played quite a nice shot, but I think he bogeyed the last as well.
Yeah,
He did, yeah.
Rory had a putt from 10 feet, didn't he?
yeah.
To get to was he to stay on 10 or did he go
No
back to
idea.
8? I think he went back to 8.
He
didn't
was
went
always
back-
in
he went
9.
back to 8.
Yeah.
It's mad that you can be known as having one of the best short games on tour.
I know.
I know,
Yeah.
still had a bunker shot in the water.
There's more chance of him holding that usually than doing that, you know?
It'll just happen to everyone.
And if you
This
actually
game.
did watch the highlights, Nacho Elvira on the 10th hole, par 5,
11th.
yeah, was it 11 or 10, whatever it is, par 5, had like a free wood and
Oh,
toe
yeah,
shanked it
Toe shanked it.
50 yards into the water and then dropped and made up and down for par. And I thought that was unbelievable.
Wow. And he also hit that unbelievable bunker shot from like 120 yards, ball below his feet. He was stood on the hill.
Yeah.
Well, he had a few
unbelievable.
shot lead after, I think it was either 7 or 8 holes. Then he bogeyed 8 and 9, did that on 10. Then 11, he had that bunker shot. And if you've not watched this bunker shot, you need to go and watch it. It is, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how he's like 135 yards, and he's hit he's standing outside the bunker right at the top of the grip because it's below his feet, and it's one of those you either thin it or duff it or just fall in the bunker,
Or
and he's
shank
hit it
it.
onto
It's so easy to present the hosel there, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
and he's hit like a draw onto the,
He's
onto the
hooked
green.
it, yeah, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that's someone he's won twice, hasn't he? That was his third win.
Yeah.
But I don't think those wins weren't like that. That leaderboard was stacked behind
Yeah.
him, and he looks pretty comfortable to me. So
Well, he said in his
Very
interview that his swing wasn't that good going to this week. If you told him on Tuesday he was going to win, he wouldn't believe you. He said he was not swinging 100% at all.
that's just someone who's good at getting the ball in the hole. He's been out there for a while, hasn't he? So it's
Yeah.
one of those guys.
Yeah, so that was good. Good to get back into the golf season. And so yeah, we're going to talk about LIV versus. Well, it wasn't supposed to be LIV versus PGA, but that's what we ended up calling it because we turned it
Non-biased
into that
discussion.
way.
Yeah.
We turned it into LIV versus PGA. No prize for guessing what side we're kind of on at the moment. But
Liv.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you
Well,
weren't
Jordan, you
here
weren't
last
on.
week.
Yeah, you weren't on here last week.
Yeah,
So
I'll play Devil Advocate. I love Liv.
that's you basically just play devil's advocate anyway. So you just have to do it for LIV versus PGA. But yeah, we're going to start because Kempo was saying actually we've not covered everything. So I think we'll just start about Rory and Rory's involvement from the start. So Rob, if we can hear you, we'll find out. Can you tell us about maybe Rory's involvement at the start? He was a bit outspoken, how you kind of felt about all of that.
I mean, Rory's kind of like felt like. Can you hear me well now? Is that all right?
Not well.
It's not
Can hear you.
well, but it's better than it was before.
All
It
right.
sounds like you
It
are
sounds-
in a submarine.
Yeah,
Jordan's-
in a well.
Sub in Jordan while I check this out.
Yeah, sub me in. What were we talking about?
Rory
Rory.
Oh, Rory McIlroy.
being outspoken at the start.
Yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because he was on the board of like the PGA Tour Players Board, and he was like the director of it. And then obviously after the whole spat and how it all went down, he obviously left. And then it's almost like since he left, he doesn't really care.
Well, I think you've probably jumped about 13 or
Just-
14 months there of
You've
information.
just covered it
But-
in 20 words.
Right at the start. So Rory, obviously
Wrong.
the split happened and it was quite polarizing because with those who went to LIV, apart from the big names that got the huge sign-on fees, you had other players that still got good sign-on fees, but they're at the latter stage of their career. So you got the likes of, remember it was Graham McDowell, Ian
Westwood.
Poulter and Lee
Ian
Westwood
Poulter.
were like sitting in that press
Stenson, you
conference.
could put him in there.
Yeah, but in that press conference there was them three.
Yeah.
And this was when LIV had just came on the scene, and I remember Sky Sports were asking them, oh, so like, was it if like Putin had a golf tournament or a golf league, would you go and play? And then Ian Poulter was like, I don't have to answer that question. Like it was very like contentious at the start, and
Yeah.
by this stage nobody admitted that they were going for the money, which is just bonkers looking back on
Those
it now.
guys,
But
those guys had a leg to
Mhm.
stand on. You know what I mean? They could have just said, "Look, guys, I especially like Ian Poulter. He basically said that I can't keep up with Scheffler, but I've just been
Yeah.
off 40 million quid to go and play with no cut, and I can see my family and I can do YouTube on the side. Like, I mean, you get it from his point of view.
Yeah.
But there was some people where I really didn't understand it. Again, like your Kepkas, but then again, it seems to have worked out quite well for him.
Well,
So
early on, it was like what Phil Mickelson went because he had a bit of that fallout about with the PGA. He said last week about the percentages for prize pots. He was one of those people who's quite outspoken about that when he went to live.
I mean, he
Um,
got offered a sum of money that was just astronomical. He was one of the highest ones, wasn't he, behind Ram?
yeah,
He was
I
in the
think he
hundreds
got
of millions.
200,
Yeah. So, but
200,
again,
I think.
and look, I know he just won a major as well, but yeah, I don't think he was. I think he was past his best. So 200 million quid to go and do what you were doing. It's
yeah. And so my kind of view at it, I think people will get to now what the view is on Rory, but at the time Rory was very outspoken and basically, I mean, I'm not just standing up for him because he's Northern Irish, but I felt like he was just saying what everybody thought, which was they're just going for the money. They're
Mhm.
not saying that. We're all thinking it. They've kind of left behind the PGA Tour for money. That's not going to work. The format's not going to work. And then was quite an influential figure at the PGA Tour as well. And I
Mhm.
think, and Jordan kind of glanced over it, but the big issue was him and Jay Monahan, who was it the commissioner?
Commissioner, PGA
Yeah,
commissioner.
commissioner at the time. Like they were best buddies, and Jay was supposed to be keeping him in the loop with things, and Rory was coming out and putting himself in the line in press conferences. Like if you remember, most press conferences after the live stuff, Rory was just sitting there talking about live versus PGA the whole time. It
Mm.
was nothing to do with his own golf game.
He was the front line of
Oh, all
it
right.
all.
Oh, all right.
And
I
that's
agree.
Rob doing an impression of Wally. But no, I can't even
Um,
repeat. I don't even know what you were trying to
Oh
say.
God, why am I laughing so much at that? Oh my God.
But yeah, so like
Oh,
did I cut out or something?
no, worse. I wish you had.
Yeah, honestly, that was great. Do that again.
But so Rob,
You
I don't
know
know if you
what?
want to try
I'm
and
just gonna
join
watch.
on your phone or something, maybe Rob.
Oh,
Well, Rob can work that out. But anyway, yeah, Rory and Jay were supposed to be best buds. He was supposed to be keeping in the loop. Rory was kind of the face of it from a player's perspective. Like he was the guy taking the brunt of the questions,
Yeah.
putting his neck in the line, and then which I don't think anybody necessarily do any of you disagree with how he handled himself at the start?
Um, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't disagree. I think he's coming from a place of someone who appreciates the sport of golf and he loves what the majors stand for. He's brought up in Northern Ireland where you guys it's just kind of grassroots golf, and then to him, I think Liv stood against everything that he kind of believed golf was about. So I think he reacted obviously emotionally, but again, he's coming from a point of view of someone who doesn't really care about money anymore and he's doing it for the majors.
Yeah,
Um, but I also think maybe this is coming down the line, but I guess he because he came out so emotionally, put his face out there, he was then used by the PGA Tour, and it ended up probably being a bit of a sacrificial lamb by them as well. So because he wasn't kept in the loop in the merger stuff. I mean, he was the face of it, and then all of a sudden he found out about the merger secondary. So
yeah. Um,
It it feels like he keeps getting like these big things wrong though at the start. So like the Olympics, even you look back at the Ryder Cup, he said it
yeah,
was like a bit of an exhibition. The Olympics was
yeah,
like no good players would go and play it. Then Liv, he said, "Oh, there's no chance that this is ever going to like happen." Even before Liv actually started, he said, "There's no way a world tour can. It's going to happen." Then it happened. Then he said, "Oh, there's no way big players are actually going to go." And then like we got John Ram and Cam Smith are signing for Brooks Koepka, and then he said, "Oh, it's only going to last like a year." And I was like 3 years, and I feel like he's been made to look a bit like a tit for a few of these things. So sorry,
yeah.
Rory. I said, yeah, he'll probably message me about saying this, but
yeah. No, I felt like I think he was right he was just saying what everybody was thinking at the start. He was very outspoken and he was kind of having a go at I don't know if it kind of got I can't remember if it was personal as such with certain players, but I think he was in a roundabout way saying a lot of these players don't need to go. They're still competing at the top of their game and they're kind of throwing that away.
Yeah.
Of course, the big drawback at Live at the time and still is, even though they're looking at it, was the world ranking points. So he was like, I mean, he didn't even say it made sense for those who were in the twilight of their career. I don't even think he kind of acknowledged that the likes of Poulter and stuff right at the start, but with the right move, I think he was saying that with Ryder Cup places, people thought, okay, these players are never going to play in the Ryder Cup again.
Yeah.
There was that as
Yeah.
well.
There were certain ones. I mean, Stenson that was meant to be captain of the Ryder Cup, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
He threw that under the bus. So you kind of showed what he was valuing money or, that kind of stuff. So I think the big one for him as well that Cam Smith beat him by one at the Open and then decided to go to live the next day. That was probably a double sore one.
I remember we were at St Andrews for the final round watching it, and there were murmurs around the place. Like apparently Cameron Smith, he's already agreed to go. Like as soon as this is finished today, he's basically announcing that he's going to live. And then TV were starting to talk about it towards the end of that round as well. And that was funny because obviously Sky Sports, they've kind of mellowed out now, but at the time they're obviously very anti-Liv. Liv had their own broadcasting channel, bringing these big names. And I suppose we can maybe talk about this as well and how you feel about broadcasters purposely not showing Liv players on the TV.
Yeah, remember that.
Remember that? That was
Yeah.
really, I mean, it's so silly now looking back on it, but I mean, they would purposely not show Liv players, even if they were like say top 15. They were just not getting any coverage because Sky were worried that
Yeah.
Liv was a big threat at the time.
Yeah. It was a really weird time, wasn't it? Because no one actually knew what was going on and how it was going to pan out and what they were going to do to change it and who's had this and who's had that, who's been paying this. And even, some of the guys, all the captains actually have like a stake in their team. So it'd be surprising if any of those captains actually ended up leaving. But yeah, it was all really weird.
Yeah, and I think at that time, when Cam Smith signed, I think he was under the impression that they would eventually get world ranking points and that it was just it was a matter of time and that they worked something out. But the thing is, it's such a difficult one because how can you give? The PGA is an established tour, and the way the world ranking points is kind of designed around that. But then you bring Liv in, you're not playing against the same strength field. You're playing against a handpicked bunch of.
Well, there were some players who just finished college and they were getting asked to play. I mean, that's jackpot, by the way.
Oh,
So I get it. But yeah, the strength and depth of the field wasn't as good, even though these big players were going.
yeah.
It was like I remember watching Liv at the start thinking, yeah, there's the big players are there thereabouts, and then there's just a big drop off to the rest of them.
And to me, with the Rory thing, it felt like he was always strong, and he hoped that other people would kind of come and stand alongside him. But one by one, people dropped away, and then things like Tom McKibben going, someone from his club but under his wing, who he apparently had sat down and spoke to a lot and advised. Tom McKibben was having an unbelievable season. And then, he looks like he's about to go. Did he get a PGA Tour card?
He got his PGA Tour card, I think.
He was about to, and then he could have had, that's exactly what Rory was hoping for him to then start competing in the majors. And he signs for LIV, and it was almost like that's when his messaging started softening because he realized that this was happening, and he needed to accept it because it was probably getting a bit tiresome being that the sole voice now against LIV. So
yeah. Well, I think the big turning point about him mellowing out was when these merger talks happened because out of nowhere, Jay Monaghan and one of the PIF representatives are sitting on the TV, like CBS or one of the American channels. I just remember waking up to it going, this is crazy. And they're sitting side by side after all like this whole public feud, having a go at each other's tours, nicking players, and then none of the PGA Tour players knew this was happening.
No.
And then Rory did look like a proper tit, to quote
Rob.
Oh, come on, wear your shirt, man.
Yeah. And so I think that was maybe the turning point for him and his mellowness because all of a sudden I think then people felt bad that there was such like a polarized view. People were like, oh, Team Liv, all Liv's gonna work. We talked about that last week. And like you would go through videos or social media and see this big clash, and then that happened to Rory, and even people then were like, for Rory, literally put his neck out, took all the stick, and then these merger talks were happening. He didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
And also it ends up being that these merger talks were just like nonsense, really. It was just they just wanted to calm the storm. There was no actual talks or contract or anything. It was just a bit of a clown show, like nothing concrete or anything. They were just doing it to get on the news, say, "Oh, we're all buddies, we're all friends." But
what actually happened? Because nothing's happened.
Just looking back now, so it was 2023 when they came out. So they've been going for just over a year. and they said there's going to be a framework to end like the litigation because remember they're taking legal action against each other and everything at this stage. That's
Yeah.
why it was such a it was so confusing. And then they were going to align commercial interests. I remember at the time what they were talking about, not necessarily as a merger, but was that they were going to trying to align the schedules so they weren't conflicting, so people could watch both. Which I think obviously in the short term would have helped the likes of CBS or NBC, Sky Sports, because then people in theory wouldn't have to choose between watching a big live event, which at the time was still the thing, and watching a PGA Tour or DP World Tour event. Obviously now it's funny to think that people would maybe watch live event instead of like that event yesterday. But at the time that was a big issue because of the novelty factor. But as you say, Rob, that nothing really came of it. It was just kind of like we're gonna agree to stop suing each other.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it was just, oh, there's too much suing going on. We need to stop it. So once they did this framework, then you have to stop. Like all the suing has to stop. So it was just a way to get the lawyers off the bankroll, pretty much.
Yeah, it was so nothing really came about of the merger as such.
No, and but
And
they still hate each other because the World Golf Ranking Board has like just 4 or 5 people on the board making decisions on who's going to get world ranking points and how they're going to do it. And 2 of the people on that board are on the PGA Tour board. So,
Right.
so Liv was never going to get world ranking points regardless because
Yeah.
like the 2 votes are gone there anyways.
yeah,
Yeah, but again, it's as simple as say if you were playing an amateur event and they said, "Oh, it's going to be 3 rounds, no cut." You wouldn't have any ranking points. That's as it's to have a qualifying ranking point, it needs to be
there needs to be some sort of jeopardy. There needs to be like a yeah,
So
a
like the
cut.
so
That's
like the
what cut
Dubai
is.
Desert Classic this week, where it was 60 players, no cut.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
the
talking about
invitational.
like amateur events. So like an amateur events to make it a wagger, you need it to have I think it's 72 holes and it needs to have a certain amount of players.
I don't think, and it just needs to be 54 minimum, I think.
I think it needs
What
to
is
be
it?
54 players, 3 rounds.
Yeah, doesn't have to be.
All right, 1-0.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, that's actually a good point. So I think the merger thing we've kind of covered all that, and it's basically the summary was nothing's happened.
Yeah.
But talking about this, Jordan,
That's mental. We
that
could do
summary.
that.
So you can just
Good summary.
that's our summary for the past 7
But
minutes.
the isn't the commissioner of like the world ranking points is Trevor Immelman, isn't he not? He's like the head guy and when it comes to world ranking points for the official world golf rankings. So it would be really interesting if Liv ever get world ranking points, considering
Yeah.
Trevor Immelman.
And Jay Monahan was on the board as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like if Trevor Immelman is like the head honcho when it comes to world ranking points, it's like Liv, but probably. Well, I don't know. Maybe now there's
Yeah.
72 holes.
I think we should know. We'll make a point of this world ranking points because we talked about last week, about the feeder tours and Liv didn't have one, but obviously there's the Asian tour that's came into this.
Yeah, I'm just reading
So-
here. So Patrick Reed. So he's in the news. It's in the news today because apparently he said that he would come back to the PGA Tour. He was offered the chance. Obviously, he doesn't qualify for this returning PGA,
Major winners one.
Yeah.
And he's 41st in the world still, which is quite impressive. But he's had to play in 32 events last season. He played
in 32 events last
32
year.
events. He played.
Oh my God.
He played on, like you say, he played LIV. He played 10 DP World Tour events. He played all 4 majors and 14 LIV events. So he's saying that he has to work so hard to stay in the top 50 and play good golf. I mean, that's quite impressive.
Yeah. Well, maybe Jordan, is it worth going over quickly like the feeder tours and like how world ranking points work at the minute and why Liv haven't been able to get world ranking points? Well, until Asian tour and now how that kind of works now.
Yeah, so the Asian Tour has the international series, which a lot of the Liv guys play on, which does have world ranking points. So that's how they're kind of getting it. They're also paying. I remember at the start they could play in some of the DP World Tour events if they paid a fee. So they could pay like a fee to play in these DP World Tour events to obviously keep up their world ranking points. So they've got the international series, you've got the Asian Tour, and then you've got the DP World Tour events that they're willing to pay a fee for, basically. So that's kind of how Patrick Reed's probably done it. You know, he's played in all these international series events, blah blah blah. But yeah, like you said, the Asian Tour, top two guys in the Asian Tour order of merit get a LIV card, which is mental. So
Yeah,
I find
that's
it really weird and odd. But again, it's weird because the Asian Tour has co-sanctioned events with the PGA Tour. So like the Genesis, is it the Genesis
No, they
one in
don't.
Korea?
They don't.
Oh, well, they used to. I'm sure they did.
They
Maybe not
did.
anymore.
They don't have anymore because the Asian tour partnered with LIV, but it's the Korean tour that
Oh, yeah.
have co-sanction. I mean, the co-sanction stuff is getting out of control now.
Yeah, because it's everywhere.
On all these tours, South Africa, Korea, Japan.
Yeah.
Japan with the PGA Tour one. The next, no, not the one that the
Yeah.
Zozo,
The
Zozo.
Zozo, yeah.
The Zozo is co-sanctioned with the Japan tour. The Genesis is co-sanctioned with the Korean tour. You've got co-sanctioned with the Australian, the Sunshine.
Yeah.
Just so, yeah, it's getting a bit out of control.
That's just
Yeah.
the DPI Tour trying to keep it more, make the fields, stronger or more accessible, I suppose. But
yeah.
it's
I think that goes back
that's how
to
they're doing it.
that goes back to how we were saying last week. I was saying how the PJ Tour maybe deserves more credit because they've still been able to hold their own. Unfortunately, DP World Tour hasn't as such. So a lot of the players you get DP World Tour cards go the PJ Tour. I remember when Rory first got his PJ Tour card, and there's not um like uproar back home, but it was kind of like, oh, he's going to lead the DP World Tour, and I was like, it's not really how it works. Like he's going to play the majority of his golf over there. He's going to play big events on the DP World Tour, and he's still going to end up enough points to maybe win the race of Dubai or whatever the order of merit is. But the DP World Tour was really weakened by Liv coming about. That I actually didn't realize that they paid to play these events. I didn't know that. I thought the DP World Tour just invited them because they needed them, which is obviously part of it as well. But that's good that they had to pay a fee, even though it's probably pennies to them now. They're making the big
Yeah.
bucks and
But
Liv.
interesting, Patrick Reed actually played this week in the Dubai
He said that.
Invitational.
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh, but paid his way in.
wow, it's an invitational, so he obviously just got invited.
No, well, he finished tops. If you finished, top something in the DP World Tour Order Merit last year, I think he finished top 10, didn't he, at the end of the year?
Wow,
So that gets him into all the DP Tour events in this year if he wants as
that's
well.
great.
I wonder I have no idea if they're still paying a fee or not. Because they used to have to pay, it was 100 grand
Mm.
for every event.
Whoa.
100
Yeah.
grand fine for every event they wanted to play on DP
Oh
World
yeah.
Tour.
Mhm.
If you're a live
Yeah.
player. I don't know if that's still the number. It'd be a bit wild because then Patrick Reed, you just said, played
Yeah.
10 DP World Tour events
Just a million
last
quid.
year. Paid a million quid just
Yeah.
to play.
Million
doubt
quid, but he's 41st in the world because of it, and he can play the majors. So it's
I mean, it's pretty smart business from the DP World Tour because they know that they need the
They need the
players.
world ranking point.
They know that the players need the world ranking points.
Yeah, yeah.
The DP they don't have membership, so I mean, if you forget about the fee for a minute, they should have to pay if they're not members, just like anything else. But if they are, I mean, 100 grand, they're weighing up that while these players are getting earning millions, they need the world ranking points. It's just like a negotiation
yeah.
tactic. It's
Well,
just like
they've got them
they've got the
ransomed if you
strength
want.
back.
Yeah, they've got them ransomed if you want world ranking, then you got to pay 100 grand per event.
Yeah. No, Liv is completely. They should have seen that, like, on the World Golf Ranking Board, there's going to be two PGA Tour, like two people very involved with the PGA Tour and the PGA. Because I mean, Liv definitely should have world ranking points. They meet every criteria for it.
But
So it's just a political thing now.
so how does that work, Rob, exactly? Do you say there's a board that decides what tours
Yeah.
get world ranking points? It's literally as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. Liv will submit an application to get world ranking points as any other tour does. You have to provide meet certain criteria. So, 3 rounds. It has to meet 3 rounds of golf. Have a relegation, have a promotion, have a way to play into to qualify, and all that kind of stuff. And
So is that why they put the relegation in this season?
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because they don't really want the relegation.
No,
Because then they're losing, Bubba
assets.
Watson
Yeah,
getting
that they paid for.
relegated. Who was it? Henrik Stenson Did he
Yeah.
get
I
relegated?
think you can only get relegated if you're not a team captain. So I know if you're a team captain, you can't get relegated.
Yeah,
I mean, how much did they pay for to get Henry Stenson on the tour? And now he's gone. So it's literally just money in the bin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
It's
think
the world ranking points are really interesting. Cam Smith, right, this year played 8 world ranking events, right? 4 of them were the majors because he's still exempt. One was the Dunhill. The other one was the Saudi Invitation, the Saudi International, which is an Asian Tour event, which you're getting anyway. And then the other 2 were the Australian PGA and the Australian Open. And out of the 8 that he played, he missed the cut in 7 of them.
Mhm.
And obviously finished second at the Australian Open. And now he was as low as 354th in the world.
I mean, he had. I mean, is it fair to
Men-
say that that was just live? Is it as easy as that? Because he was
He had the world at his
in the
feet when he won the
prime.
Open.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I mean, he was probably the best putter on tour, and he was flying
Yeah,
when he won at St Andrews.
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, he's probably the biggest victim in this. I mean, Brooks as well. Him and Brooks.
But
Well,
Brooks is sweet.
let's move
Yeah.
on. Let's move on to Brooks now because the final part I put in this was Brooks coming back to the PGA Tour. So firstly, let's talk about Brooks. Go his like journey, go on to live. Now he's coming back, and then after that, we'll talk about I suppose how we feel about players coming back. But
Mhm.
I remember he was on was it Logan Paul's podcast, the Brooks
Yeah,
Koepka, and he was like he didn't say exactly how much it was, but I think he hinted it was like a couple hundred million, 150 million,
yeah.
something like
He
that.
said it. He said, is it 8 figures, which is obviously a million. He said, was it 7? No, 7 figures. And he was like, nah, more. He was like, is it 8 figures? And he was like, nah, more. He was like, at 9 figures. He was like, yeah.
Wow.
So it's at least 100 million.
So at least
Yeah.
100 million.
I mean, he was as again we talk about the asset as an asset to buy for a tour. He was arguably the best modern major winner we've had.
He was such an enigma because like he'd he won 4 majors and everybody's like, oh, Rory's only won 4 majors and Koepka's done it in a few years. But there was like a while, no, probably it's still the case is he got more majors than he has PJ Tour, normal PJ Tour
I think
wins.
He
Kepka's
just
got 5
was,
majors, has he?
yeah, he's got 5 now, yeah, and he was
Oh,
such a
5.
big
No,
game
he
player.
must have a dozen PGA Tour wins.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't
No
know.
idea. I think he's just
Rob's been the oracle this episode, so I'm going to trust that.
But
True.
that period he just turned up for majors and just didn't win anything else. He just won majors and that
Where
was
was it? When he saw out that major? I just remember him hitting like a 4 iron on a par 3 to about 5 feet and everyone was worried about that hole. What course was
Bethpage
it?
Black,
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's bad.
PGA.
Unbelievable how he
Back
saw
to
that
back.
event out.
that was his first like oops moment, like that round because he was renowned for being the major guy. Like he came out and said, "Oh well, mentally that's half the field out, and then you just have to be better than the other half, so that you've got a
Yeah.
quarter of the field to contend with."
Mhm.
So he came out with all of that, and then he backed it up for so long. Maybe not the exact miles, Rob, the way you're looking at me, but that's basically what he said, is that
I
you
think
could
your
rule out.
math didn't add up at all there, but
Yeah,
Um,
they won't go into that.
he actually earned $41 million on course earnings for his live golf career, just
That's
in live golf,
frightening.
which I think is pretty cool. He actually also had a year left on his contract, so he must have paid out of his contract, surely.
If
It
you
was,
think
yeah.
if you think about all the guys that have kind of struggled on live versus the guys who have done well, it's actually just the boys who have done well are the guys who actually have loved the game of golf.
Mhm.
And the guys who've done badly are kind of guys who just seems to be there. They're kind of in it for for the ride and the good times, and they'll have beers, and they don't take golf too seriously. So like Cam Smith, Brooks, Ian Poulter, Mickelson, all these guys have played horrendous on live,
mhm.
and because it just seems like it's more a bit of fun for them.
Yeah.
Whereas the guys who really like just love the game and are and like you can just tell those boys aren't practicing at home, and then the boys actually because that's what live has done to them,
Yeah,
and then the other boys that like have just the passion for the game, they're still doing well and they're still doing well in majors like John Ram, Joachim Neiman,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Joe
guys
Hall,
who
yeah.
Tyrrell, them boys.
yeah, all these boys that even if they weren't pro, they'd still try and grind as amateurs at their own
Yeah.
course. I don't know how
Yeah.
to,
I
they
don't.
But
just love the game of
that's
golf.
interesting though, because
Yeah,
again, a lot of people don't. With Brooks, he did it the hard way. He came and played on the Challenge Tour, didn't he? He
Mhm.
came across and
yeah,
did what someone who is a proper grinder and loves the game did. Got off the Challenge Tour, played at Spey Valley in the Scottish Challenge events, and then gets on the European Tour and did it the way that was kind
The
of,
hard way, yeah.
yeah, not what people think. He just screams to me like a big American college player, comes out on tour, doesn't really like the game, but he's good at it. But he did it the hard way.
That's what I don't get about it. He did it like as hard as
Yeah.
as hard a journey as anyone. Gets to the PGA Tour, does a little bit well, and they comes out into an interview and say, "Oh, I don't practice. I don't really love golf." And
Yeah,
I'm like, "What are you
it's not
doing?"
true. It's not true
Couldn't be
because
true.
no, yeah, he
Well,
did it, you
I
know.
mean, he said it's not his favorite sport, which I could maybe believe, but I feel
Yeah.
like it almost became his personality was like, I don't enjoy golf. Kind of reminds me of Jordan a few
Yeah,
years ago, actually. But
Yeah,
but
maybe it's a protection, like a little, I
yeah,
don't practice, so if I play bad, then it's not my fault. Imagine you kind of saying, imagine how good I'd be if I practiced. That's what Jordan used to say as well, actually. But
but I feel like
Now
he
practice
could,
them worse.
yeah, but I feel like he convinced himself of this persona. Sometimes you can play a character
yeah.
and then
yeah.
it'll just become it without realizing it.
So are we talking
And I
about
think
Brooks or me here? I know it's a kind of, I know it's a pretty
that
similar comparison here.
We'll keep going, then you can work it out.
yeah,
They actually
exactly.
said, that eligibility for the major winners. They've said that Bryson John and Cam Smith have until the 2nd of February to make a decision whether they want to come back or not. But I think they've all
Yeah,
committed to saying that they're going to stay on live,
yeah. He said last week they've
They're
said they'll
all
continue to
saying
be on live.
which is
Yeah.
just the 2nd of February is just before, it's days before the live season begins, I think. So
So how do you all feel about, I mean, firstly, just out of principle, before the financial sanctions, how do you feel about Brooks coming back to the PGA Tour?
I mean, it's great for the PGA Tour. The amount of pressure that he's going to be under to perform is going to be ridiculous.
I'm sure he just doesn't care still.
Yeah.
I'm just
Good
convinced.
point. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm convinced he's now back. He's going, oh, sweet, I'm back on the PGA Tour. This is great. I'm just going
Yeah.
to grind out. I can now get world ranking points if I play all right. I'm going to be playing in all the majors for the next God knows how many years because I'm going to play all right at some point.
Yeah. And he had
yeah.
he had personal like family issues last year, and he said this means he's going to be closer to home, which we were laughing at last week because that's ironic because the whole point of Live was supposed to be
That was
17 events,
Yeah.
reduced schedule for more money, and actually the way it's worked out, because this is, I suppose, going against the point last week when I was saying the good thing about Live is it's global, whereas BJ Tour, I say it's just in America because America's huge, but a lot of players obviously base themselves in Florida, for example, and then could just travel to events on a weekly basis if they need to. So I'm guessing that's what it meant. You can have like like genuinely live at home for a couple of weeks, then go and travel instead of going around the world and having all these other commitments maybe that was tied into his live contract.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think everybody, are we agreeing that it's a good thing he's coming
Yeah.
back?
I
Yeah.
mean, it's a
Yep.
good thing. I think it's, the PGA Tour have basically got back one of the probably, he's a in the sport of golf, he's a top five name, isn't he? He's a big, big name. So, and they've got him back. So, and they've got him back seemingly of his own accord, and he's come back and said, "Look, the PGA Tour is where I want to be. It's the best tour in the world." So it's just a good advert for them, isn't it? So,
Yeah. Well, let's get into the I'll just gonna read out the sanctions and then we can talk about
These are absolutely
other
He's
players as
getting
well. So
shafted.
the sanctions are, so yeah, he ended his live contract towards the end of last year, the start of this year. It was confirmed. The return of member program that Jordan talked about. So you've got PGA Tour create a new category allowing major winners from 2022 to 2025, like Koepka, to rejoin under specific terms. And here are the significant penalties as part of that. So this year he's not ineligible for the 2026 FedEx Cup bonus pool. So all the bonuses that are attached to the Order of Merit, can't get that. He's out of the player equity program, so the shared earnings part of the PJ Tour for being a member. He's out of that until 2031.
right.
He's had to make, or will have to make, a $5 million charitable donation.
You like that?
Um,
Oh,
and with all
that's the
the
worst one.
and the
I'll do
ones,
it to my own charity, the Koepka Foundation.
that's
Maybe.
not
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Koepka
yeah.
Foundation. That's clever. Yeah, love
but
that.
so they've estimated that. I don't know how they estimate this because not to say his previous form is going to be the same, but they've given quite a big range here. Potential loss in the next 5 years of 50 to $85 million because of these sanctions.
I think
Um,
go back to the one you said before, the equity program, and that goes off. That doesn't just go off your golf. That goes on how influential you are, isn't it?
it's the
Yeah,
media. It's tied into media
And
earnings.
he would be the top one of the top earners for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably would be. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
Tiger won it like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
playing.
there you go.
No, that program, is that not so like the players own the PGA Tour?
Well, they're members, so I don't know if they're shareholders. I'm going to look into it here, but
Yeah, they are. So this is the different the equity program. So the PGA Tour is owned by the players, and for the amount of events you play on the PGA Tour, that gives you a stake. You then get money in that through like a retired. That's like a retirement fund, basically.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So let's say like boys like Larry Mize, for example, that have played hundreds and hundreds of events. They're making like a lot of money now because they played so much, helped build the
Build
PGA
the
Tour
tour it is.
basically.
Okay.
So
And hence,
the amount of events you've played, you have an equity stake then in the PGA Tour that rises and rises for the amount of events you play.
Got you.
And so, I mean, let's say, like a guy like Tiger Woods would have had, he's played so much, and it must be linked as well to career earnings maybe as
Mm.
well, or
well, it's
something like
I've got it here, so it's sort of what you were saying, Rob, but they changed it slightly in 2024, it's only a couple of years ago. So it's a long-term incentive scheme, as you'd imagine, and it's equity style ownership units. So over time, your equity vests. So every year that you stay on tour, you get more and more, like your investments, you vest them. So you recognize more over time. So it's basically a long-term loyalty program.
that.
So
Yeah,
for every year you stay on tour, you keep your equity and you actually gain more and more benefits over time. So it's their way of counteracting Liv's guaranteed contracts. It's like if you stay with us, then you're going to be part of this other program, as well as just your career earnings from events. By staying on the tour, you're going to get more investment over time. So
exactly.
so he's excluded from that until 2031. I don't know how much that in itself contributes to him. I'm guessing most of the money is going to come from the FedEx Cup, which has a lot of money tied to it. I know people
Mm-hmm.
talk about Live, but I mean
Is that
Victor
saying
Hovland's
even?
Kaching just shows it off.
Is that saying that if he won the Tour Champs, or even won the FedEx Cup, he wouldn't get the £20 million bonus?
I'm pretty sure that's what it means, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, he's excluded from all the big Order Merit prize pool. He'll still win if he won the regular PJ Tour event. He'll get the earnings for that, but he'll not get the Order of Merit benefits.
Let,
Yeah.
let's yeah. Let's have a Brooks Koepka season prediction here.
oh,
This will be a good one. How
um,
many does he win this year on tour?
No. And I do think it's because he's not a good player anymore. It's that the strength of the PGA Tour, outside of the players that Liv have taken, the strength of the PGA Tour, and that comes through the backbone of the college programs. I mean, me and Kempo don't know this. We know this from watching you guys, but after playing university golf, these guys are already full-time golfers. They're just not getting paid yet. So
Yeah,
that transition seems to be getting easier and easier every year. So I feel like if Brooks is off even a little bit, a 22, 23-year-old could easily finish ahead of him if they just play okay.
I
So
think yeah, I think he's gonna win twice.
I think he
Wow.
wins. I think he wins the US Open or the US PGA.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, where are they this year? Do we know?
You're gonna put a bet on?
US.
Whatever on it. No, I can see him winning. I think he's the kind of guy I wouldn't want to say he wouldn't, you know what I mean? He seems to be good at pulling these things out of the bag.
Yeah, I can see.
So
He just looks like a guy. He needs a carrot in front of him.
Oh, he wins the US Open
He needs something
where is
that's
it?
at Shinnecock.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's his kind of
he
course.
he needs a
Flip
bit of
that.
a chip on his shoulder, Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's just he's gonna have that chip on him the whole season. He's gonna have to. It's a bit like going back to going to the Challenge Tour, going to the DP World Tour. He's got to prove himself all over again.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the best thing for him.
I think
He's
yeah,
going to come
relish
out
it.
I mean,
firing.
I'm just looking at it as well about this FedEx Cup just to get it right. So I was right. So the FedEx Cup, he doesn't get any of the bonus pool, but he doesn't get any of the points, which obviously on the face of it makes sense. But it means that
He doesn't get
if
the playoffs.
so, he doesn't get the playoffs, and that
Wow.
also means that. So say for example, and we can talk about like if players come back, say by the start of next year, there's 5 ex-Liv players in the PGA Tour, and it's like the top 125 keep their card. So if those 5 players are in the top 130, then those places don't exist, basically, if that makes sense. That means that they can't take those places away from someone else trying to keep their card through
Yeah,
FedEx Cup points.
it doesn't even make a difference because
Yeah.
they're not in it anyway.
Yeah, they're not in anyway. Sorry, that's what I mean. I mean, these players, they can play really well and finish ahead of guys in events, but when it comes over to merit at the end of the season, um, they can't finish ahead of them because they're not earning
Yeah,
any
I wonder
points.
if the points that they would win from a tour event. So, for example, if Brooks Koepka wins an event, I wonder if the points that
First,
he
second.
goes to second place, or if
Yeah.
they just eradicate it from first, and then the second place gets second place. You know what I mean?
This just seems like they've made it complicated. They just listen, Brooks,
Because
you can get the points. You can only earn like, let's say 25. We'll pay you only 25% of what you
yeah,
make over the next 4 years. There you go.
because surely you can't get first place points, but second place prize money.
No, you can.
No. So, for example, if Koepka wins an event, right?
Yeah.
And he gets the prize money, but second place gets second place prize money, but only gets second place points. He can't get first place points because he didn't
So
win the event.
So the points are just skipped. So there's not. So for example, if he wins an event, it's not that second place gets first place's points. The points they just don't exist.
Second place just gets second place points. Because imagine
Yeah.
if you get a second, like you didn't win the event, but you get first place points. It doesn't make that's not very fair.
No, they just get
You didn't win.
dissolved.
Because you didn't win.
That reminds me of my first playoff when in the pro event when I was an amateur on the Pro Golf Tour. I was so we were playing in Austria. I was in a playoff against a German guy called Max, nice guy, and so as I was an amateur, he was guaranteed to win the 5 grand, the money, because I couldn't win any prize money, so he was going to win all the prize money.
Oh, sweet.
And then I think I said some sort of joke like, "You were getting the prize money, so will you just let me win and get the points then?" And he didn't take that very well, to say the least.
Did you win? Did you win the playoff?
Oh, I did win the playoff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
So you, all right, okay.
There's a good story from that, actually. So the first playoff hole, it's a par 5 dogleg left, very strange hole. I kind of pulled it left. There's this tree on the left side of the fairway. I hit the tree, bounces back in the fairway. We both so then we both make birdie, hit on the green, make birdie. Then in the second playoff hole, he hits the same tree, bounces left out of bounds.
Get out of your Max.
Look at the Irish, Rob. That's what it is.
Look at the Irish. Yeah, sometimes the game's with you.
Sorry, we're pulling away faces again because you went all Wally on us again at the start of the story.
We got the story.
We got the gist.
There was a big delay with the laugh there. I was like, oh, maybe this story isn't as good as I thought it was.
we should have waited for a couple seconds there as well. We should coordinate that a bit better.
Yeah.
Until we start laughing. But yeah, no, we as we always said, we're going to set up before this. We're going to do 30, 40 minutes tops. I think we've done 45, 50.
Yes.
Something like that. So I think that wraps up LIV for now. Although the good thing about this is that over the course of the year, I'm sure there'll be more stories, rumors of players leaving, or it works out for Brooks, doesn't work out. So LIV is, no matter how we feel about it in terms of its threat, the PGA Tour, it's still around and still affecting the landscape. So yeah, next week, not too sure. Jordan has potential guests for us, so we'll see how that works out. If not, then we'll have a good think about it and still have a plan, maybe 20 minutes before we come on air.
What about?
But yeah, thanks for listening to us. Follow us on TikTok. We're blowing up on there at the minute. I'm kind of excited to see how many likes we've got now.
I'm on it now. It's got 900 on the dot.
900 on the dot. I was hoping to get to 1,000 by the end of the recording, but
Don't
get too big.
yeah. So subscribe to us on YouTube, please. That would help a lot. And also, if you're not following the podcast on Spotify, hit follow, and then you get notifications every time we put a new episode out. So yeah, apart from that, see you in the next one.
Cheers, guys.
See ya.
Cheers.